You are taking a live look over downtown Columbia. It is starting to hopefully get sunny out there, and people are just starting to wake up for what might be one of the best weekends to be in mid-Missouri. And it certainly will be a great day to get outdoors. That's all going to start right now with Mizzou's homecoming. Good morning, mid-Missouri. I'm Elyse Schoenig.
And I'm Joseph Meyer.
Thanks so much for waking up with us this morning on KOMU 8 News today. I will tell you about how you can take part in some of those homecoming festivities. But first, Joseph, hopefully the weather is going to look great to get outside today. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah.
And you'll hear it several times today. Happy homecoming, Tiger fans. Today, MU homecoming returns after much of it was canceled last year because of the pandemic. Today kicks off with a parade just in half an hour at 9 a.m. And KOMU 8's Lucy Kale is live on MU's campus with that parade. Lucy, how is it looking out there this morning? All right, thanks, Lucy. And we'll check back in with the parade and the homecoming festivities as those festivities are in full swing around Columbia. It looks a little bit different than previous years, but that is certainly not keeping Tiger fans from returning to town. Several fans had to stay away last year due to those COVID-19 restrictions, but this year a lot of favorite traditions are returning. Fans are ready to celebrate the way they used to. Some alumni are reuniting after several years. Cindy Mooring and her friends are celebrating 35 years of friendship this weekend.
Just super excited to be here. There's 6 of us that are all here, and while we get together from time to time, it's the first time that we've all been able to also be here with our spouses. So it's a very, very special time.
Homecoming celebrations continue again with that parade here at 9 a.m. this morning, and then the kickoff against North Texas is at 3 p.m. Well, in other news, 2 major expansion construction projects are taking place at the Columbia Regional Airport, and one is expanding the runway. That project is expected to be finished in less than 2 months. This week, workers were sanding a runway you can see right there, and that's expanded by 900 feet. It's going to make it a lot easier for planes to land and take off during inclement weather, especially as fall weather kicks off here. The airport is also expanding the terminal, which is going to be finished by summer of next year.
This improvement is a parking lot on the south. It would be the south portion of where the new terminal is going to be built. That parking lot will include about 93 parking spaces.
Officials say it will be a big improvement because currently additional parking is just a gravel lot, and parking is also currently free at the airport. So the city council will have to decide if it remains free when that new lot is completed. And over in Centralia, the city is addressing allegations of misconduct after recent resignations that includes the chief of police and several officers. According to a press release, the city is appointing a third-party law firm to investigate. This comes after Centralia Police Chief Bob Bias submitted his letter of resignation last Wednesday. The police department says Bias no longer works there as of yesterday. And for a timeline of what this has looked like over there, since his resignation announcement, there are other officers that have also resigned. Now, 6 full-time officers remain, but 1 has also given their 2-week notice of resignation. A city administrator says a full Centralia police force is 9 officers and 1 chief. In the meantime, the Boone County Sheriff's Department will send 2 lieutenants to help out. Captain Brian Lear says this is a combination effort for everybody.
It's kind of a joint effort. They're still going to have staffing throughout 24/7, but it'll enable them to maybe drop down a little bit in staffing and know that they've got some backup readily available. So it's a compromise that we think is going to work well for both agencies in the short term.
We'll continue to bring you updates on the allegations, and you can read that full press release I mentioned earlier on our website. That's KOMU.com. The Columbia Police and the Boone County Health Department are working to combat fentanyl overdoses. Since the beginning of this year, the city has seen 22 overdose-related deaths. Half of those came during August and September. CPD and the health department say the overdoses are caused by fentanyl making its way into opioids, methamphetamine, and cocaine. The departments will hold an emergency town hall meeting to warn the public and raise more awareness about laced drugs. Police Chief Jeff Jones says this is an issue the whole community needs to address.
We're all affected by this. We all have friends and family who have been affected by this. Nobody is untouched by this. So we need to work together to deal with it, and we're here to help.
Along with hearing stories from overdose survivors, attendees will learn how to administer Narcan, a drug used to effectively reverse narcotic overdoses. After the training, Narcan doses will be available for anyone who wants to be prepared for an overdose situation. Well, the pandemic has certainly put a strain on healthcare workers over the past year. Missouri is short on help, and the demand for more nurses has gone even higher. KOMU8's Riley Braun looks at some of the reasons administrators say workers are feeling overwhelmed and how they're preparing for the next wave of nurses. Healthcare facilities across the state have dealt with a recent rise in patients, of course, because of the Delta variant. With demand growing every day, the jobs can't get filled fast enough. And that's a live look over the Lake of the Ozarks. It's a little cloudy out there. Hopefully the sun will come up here soon. This is KOMU8 News Today, coverage you can count on. We'll be back. All right, Joseph, let's tell that snow to stay away, maybe. All right, in other news, the September jobs report released yesterday says the U.S. added 194,000 jobs, and that's a lot lower than expected. The unemployment rate dropped to 4.8% as more workers are exiting the job market. NBC's Peter Alexander takes a look at if an improving COVID-19 outlook will give the economy the boost it needs. Several experts are warning a worker shortage reflected in the job report will also have an effect on this year's holiday shipping. Now, over in Texas, a law banning all abortions after 6 weeks is back in effect. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals put a temporary stay on an injunction against the abortion law. This brings back the law while a judge panel will decide if it'll give the law a full stay. The Biden Justice Department sued the state of Texas over this law last month. The Justice Department has until October 12th to respond to Texas's motion for a full stay. Back here in Missouri, police put the Mercy Surgery Center in Springfield on lockdown yesterday. This is after a woman was stabbed in a stairwell. The Springfield Police Department says the stabbing suspect is now in custody. Police say none of the injuries are life-threatening. The woman was a hospital worker, and police say she was in a relationship with the man they think is responsible.
We're calling all of our patients who are scheduled to be in the building today for routine appointments or for surgeries and either getting them rescheduled or telling them where they need to go.
Mercy's main hospital, which is nearby, was also put on lockdown but did open later. The college admissions process can be tough, but some people are making it harder for themselves and their children. 2 defendants were found guilty in a Massachusetts courtroom. The scandal involved wealthy parents paying to get their children into colleges. This was pretending their kids were star athletes. Lawyers for both defendants argued they thought they were making legitimate donations to the schools, but phone calls between an admissions consultant and both defendants proved the 2 defendants were in on the scheme. Here's what lawyers for both sides had to say about the guilty verdict.
And in the end, the jury reached a verdict based on the evidence in the trial. That is our system at work. That is justice.
On behalf of Mr. Abdelaziz, it's obviously not the result he was looking for, but that's our system, and that's why they have appellate courts, so that's what we'll be.
33 other parents have pleaded guilty, including TV actors Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin. Several college coaches will also stand trial in November. And that's a live look over the Columbia Regional Airport. I bet they've welcomed in lots of alumni this weekend. This is KOMU8 News Today. We'll be back after this. All right, good morning and welcome back to KOMU8 News Today. Now, some news we've got here for you. Tesla is moving its headquarters from Silicon Valley to Austin, Texas. The move comes as no real surprise. CEO Elon Musk has been building a factory in Texas for over a year. His aerospace company SpaceX is located in Texas, and he recently moved there. Also, Musk was really critical last year about California's strict COVID-19 shelter-in-place measure. And new car sales, they're dropping even though there is a strong demand. Several experts blame an ongoing computer chip shortage and other supply chain issues. The auto industry reports a drop of car sales over the last 3 months. A shortage of cars is leading to record high prices for new cars, which is sidelining potential car buyers who are being priced out of the market. One expert says relief from the high prices could be several months away.
We're worried right now that it looks like 2022 or even as late as 2023 before we can get back up to production. So until that time, expect that new cars are going to be difficult to access.
Other supply chain issues like shortages of shipping containers and truck drivers are also impacting parts and raw materials needed to make cars. Well, consumers across the U.S. are feeling the effects of a pumpkin shortage as those prices are going up because of a limited supply. NBC's Katie Garcerin takes a look at how it's impacting those looking to buy their pumpkins this year. It's so hard to believe that Halloween is actually coming close. The weather's been so back and forth. I feel like it's hard to even pick what season it feels like right now.
It usually happens. We have this seasonal transition here where it's just the season that is going does not want to let go.
No.
And we are feeling that this weekend. Again, summer-like temperatures out there. We've seen summer-like temperatures. It's almost like every time the summer-like temperatures go away, we go, all right, we're going back into fall temperatures. We're going to stay here. go right back up into the 80s.
Let's pick a season. My closet needs to know
Pick a
what
season.
season we're in
Fall
right
will
now.
eventually win out. It will win out when winter starts taking over. So it's kind of one of those transitional areas here, but it's still feeling like summer out there. This
All right, welcome back, everyone. Well, it looks like here in Columbia, that homecoming parade is just kicking off. Should be a good day to walk outside in that parade, go watch the homecoming football game, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll check back in. Well, Logboat Brewery in Columbia needs more parking. And after Monday's city council meeting, it's going to get that. What I learned is how this change is about more than just parking, but also the growth of the entire community over there at Fay Street. The sounds of Fay Street.
And it was based off the cooking I enjoyed from my family, my grandparents when I was growing up.
Growing like the area itself.
I thought this is a great place to put down roots.
That's Ozark Mountain Biscuit and Bar owner Brian Manis. He says he supports his neighbors at Logboat Brewery and their plans to grow.
More parking and accessibility for folks is something we're really supportive of.
I think it would be very beneficial.
That's Walt's Bike Shop sales manager, Sam Botts.
Parking would be something that would be nice to have as much as possible.
According to the Columbia Missourian, the city standard shows one parking stall is needed for every 150 square feet used for a bar. Logboat is not meeting that standard.
If those expansion plans are approved at the city council meeting, this is the new lot that Logboat will use for its new parking spaces. Let's go ahead and take a look at that bigger picture, though, for what this means for Logboat. It's a triangular gravel lot just 50 feet from Logboat itself. It's on 509 Fay Street, and it would make up for the 20 spots that Logboat needs.
Whether those spots are approved, businesses on Fay Street say they're used to bouncing back after the last year.
But we felt like the world would be in a better place, and we are really wanting to give people a chance to have a nice new place they can come out and socialize and be with community again.
And they're used to supporting one another in the process. Logboat Brewery wants to use the lot for more parking spaces as just part of its expansion plans. Other parts of that plan include more room for retail, production, warehouse, and a tasting room. All right, we've got a live look here at the MU Homecoming Parade. Looks like they're just starting to make their way past Memorial Union. There's marching Mizzou. I'm sure we're up bright and early this morning. This is a backpack shot here again. We're getting to you, and I'm sure that parade is going to unfold and people are just going to keep making their way down outside. We'll bring you more on the weather and one more look at that parade here after the break. This is KO Mute News Today. Your time is 9:24, and we'll be right back.
often can we say that? The temperatures have been below average this season.
I was gonna say, I don't really know if we can say that very much. I mean, I'm hoping that for today, you know, it's gonna stay there. It's gonna be good to, you know, catch at the end of the parade, catching the game. Hopefully it'll pick a season maybe today. We'll know from here what it's gonna feel like for the rest of.
It'll be summer a little bit. It'll be fall a little bit this week. Summer a little again this week, and then looks like this next weekend going a little bit more into fall.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and make sure we keep up with that. Thanks for joining us. And we're taking one more look there at the MU Homecoming Parade.